Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2021 class of the West Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. I'm your host, Billy Woods. For the evening, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Last year was postponed because we had COVID pandemic, but we are so happy and pleased that you guys are here tonight. And let me take a little moment right now to introduce our 5 Hall of Fame inductees. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyrone Bullens. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Mangum. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheila Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Payne. And our last inductee tonight, Mr. William Franklin. All right, again, we're so happy to have all of you here tonight. We're going to turn this over right now to our superintendent, Mr. John Collins.
Thanks, Billy. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that's in the room for purchasing a ticket, coming out tonight to support our school, and obviously the outstanding former student athletes and coaches that's on the stage here this evening. And obviously, when you look down through the program, we have a lot of sponsors that really get behind this. This has turned into a very special night for us at West Memphis School District. Well, I guess this is the 6th class. All right, so when Lady Dowse became athletic director, and this has been a conversation that's been talked about for many, many years. And it was really his leadership taking charge of it, putting the Hall of Fame committee together. And these guys that are on this committee, some of them are here tonight. And I jokingly say this, but between Grafton Moore, Gary Mason, Bill Tennyson, and William Ball, and Johnny Hall's here this evening, and he does not miss a game. And those guys, between recollecting all the great ones that's ever played pretty much in sport here, it's just a wonderful conversation to be a fly on the wall listening to. But we're proud of all of our student athletes at West Memphis that have come through, and a lot of you are alumni that are sitting in the audience tonight, and we appreciate you for being here. 28 years ago, I walked into this school as a young coach, and this was my hallmate, Coach Burns. We taught biology right beside each other, and he's been here tonight in over 25 years as our head coach. He was as feisty and fiery of a competitor as I've ever seen on the ladies basketball court. But you think about everything that these folks have done with their careers as students. But as coaches like her, we've got some great ones in the audience tonight as well that have made such an impact on countless students' lives. Over the course of 25 years just here, but over the course of her whole career, the young ladies that she mentored and molded through her career. So it's good to have you. And then you look on stage, and we've got some other ones here. Mark, goodness gracious, I don't know a game that was. We made a lot of money while you played basketball here. I can tell you that. You got one more year of eligibility, we can bring you back. You pack the house every night. Just so exciting to watch. Just a thrill every night. When they put balls in your hands, and something good is always going to happen. So it's good to see you at the back here. And a couple of years ago, we inducted Heather Knight into the Hall of Fame, and so it first tennis player, and you know, all high schools everywhere, and pretty much all Division I sports programs sit around and say, well, football gets everything, basketball gets everything. Football gets everything, basketball gets everything. But, you know, we've got a golfer on the stage tonight that really did a lot of marvelous things while he was in school. And to have, I see you out there, so, but to have these two in the audience together tonight, two sports that are not really considered major sports, it really speaks a lot of his concentration when he played here, because it's easy to go into a stadium like we're going to go into tomorrow night, and easy to go into an arena when you've got fans are packed and everybody's cheering for you. But there's a lot of days just the mental side of the game. You're out there with you know, you're being paired with and maybe opponents, and you know, battling yourself a lot. And what you did on the golf course, I think your junior and senior year, you can beat every old man at the country club out there anyway. So, but we know you went on to great things. And we know you wouldn't be sitting here. I couldn't come to this night without Charlie Tyler's chipping coaching techniques with you when you were in high school. But we were at West. I was principal, and he was teaching over there at that time. We talked a lot of days at lunch studio. It was pretty much just get Jordan to the course and get the heck out of the way after that. So we appreciate you being here. And then old number 12 down here. So grew up. I've known Tyrone all my life. We've been really, really good friends, close friends, and he was just he was a character. I'm gonna tell you, he kept the locker room hopping. He kept the team loose, but he kept folks accountable. And he was just a great multi-sport athlete for us. And I guess the one, I don't know if I ever told you this, I went to school at Arkansas Tech. We had a defensive end that came out to play baseball with us from Springdale, played center in high school at Springdale. And they did win the state championship our senior year. He plays 4 years at Arkansas. He's a professional bass fisherman of all things these days. But he left Arkansas Tech. He was an all-time leading sack in 2 years all-conference, 1 year all-American. And if you ask him today, who is the toughest person he's ever lined up against one-on-one, he would say Tyrone Bullens in the 1989 All-Star game. So he said he about cost me a scholarship. So it's good to see you. And Coach Moore, he did say beforehand it was a team effort, so I'm taking part in some of this because he beat me up a lot of days on the practice field. So good to see you. And then the guy that really, William, with you coming back and being here tonight, I can't tell you how special it is. You've got folks represented from every era. You grow up here. You started coming to games, football games, when I was about 5 years old with my father. And I was telling Mr. Meissner and Coach Hooks back here, my first football player, you know, wherever he's sitting right over here. First football player I can ever remember wearing uniforms was Peter Robinson. And if you played for Coach Moore and you played for Coach Nooner, and lucky enough and privileged enough to come back and coach with them, there's a lot of times we have conversations after practice and after games, and you compare players from one era to another era, teams from one era to another era. And we would always ask them, who's the best you've ever coached? And holding the integrity to the game and respect for this program, Coach Moore would never say, you know, he was just, and you think about, you know, James White, Nikita Robinson, Dearius Howard, William Ball's in the house, and Charles Stackhouse. And I jokingly said this when Nikita got inducted, that if you put Nikita Robinson, Charles Stackhouse, and Dearius Howard on the stage and you ask all of them who was the best running back that ever played here, Dearius is going to raise his hand and he's going to smile real big. Charles is going to kind of look at him because he's pretty humble, but Nikita's probably going to put both hands up in there and say, no doubt, it was me. So, but I will say this. When you ask Joe Nooner, a man that knows a lot of football, he got inducted into the Coaches Hall of Fame this summer. Coach Moore's already there, Coach Dallas is there, and Coach Bray's there. And so, but when you ask Joe Nooner would always answer the question this way. He wouldn't dodge it. He would say, William Franklin is probably the best football player I've ever coached. So we're very honored that you are all here tonight. We're appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to come back to Grove High School and let us give you a night and honor everybody. Thank you once again for being here and supporting our school district, our community, and particularly our Blue Devils. Have a good evening.
I'd like to take just one brief moment before we get started with our meal tonight. Grafton, of course, would come and pray for us before we have the meal. But I want to recognize all the Hall of Famers, the West Memphis Hall of Famers who are in attendance tonight. So if you have been elected to our Sports Hall of Fame, please stand up and let's recognize you. I see Mr. Walker back there, and Peter Robinson, we have Leon Brown, we have Edwin, we have Frank Grafton here. We're so happy to have all of you back because it's a family, Blue Devil family. Once a Blue Devil, you're always a Blue Devil, okay? I'm going to turn it over to the man, Grafton Moore. He's going to pray over our food, and then we are going to have instructions on how we get our meal.
I promise you, the prayer will not be as long as these last two speeches, especially Mr. Collins. I don't think I'm talking to fans when he was working. Join me in prayer, please. Heavenly Father, first of all, we want to thank you that we have this great event this year that we missed so badly last year. Lord, we want to thank you for these 5 inductees and everything that they contributed to the West Memphis Athletic Department. Lord, we want a special request that tonight be special for all 5 of them as well as their families and the friends that have come to honor them tonight. Also, Lord, I want to thank you for the West Memphis School District, for all of the administrators, all of the teachers, all of the coaches, and all the staff members, for all the contributions that they have done for all of us, especially in the athletic department. None of this would be possible without their support. We thank you for that. Lord, on this special night, we give you all the praise and glory. Now we ask that you bless this food and bless everyone that's here tonight. We give you the praise and the glory. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we will be entering those 2 doors. You can go through either door. Either door. And you will go through the line and you will be served. And you come back and the first table that's going to be served is for our honorees, okay? Honorees are going to go first. So y'all can head up there right now. Once you get there, I want to give a shout out to our food service provider, Chartwell, here tonight, and they have cooked up a really nice meal for us tonight. We appreciate everything they do for us. So we're going to go from that point, we're going to go with this table, this row here, followed by the next row. Pretty much make that out. We're going to go horizontal these rows, okay? All right.
I had the pandemic too, but I better get my mask on so everybody feels comfortable. I don't know what to feel
How are you? I'm good. How are you?
What's up, man? You all right? What's up? Hey, how you doing?
Give me a drink. Is that an Esther roll?
Yeah, we had a player get somebody, I said to come find him. Got that thing from smoking down there. Yeah, that's So I used to go watch the play all the time with you see it. And the interception, man, that's all they want to talk about. He said, you see that? I said, yeah, the ball got hung up over there. He got hung up. I think got better hands than you. Yeah, that's why they were right. But hey, it's nice meeting you. Don't worry about it. He's the only guy that I know that's ever goes back home and say hello.
like this. Like that. Like this.
That's why they made him richer, because they said he wasn't. They graduated almost all the freshmen.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started with our program tonight. Before we do, I would be remiss if I did not mention two Hall of Famers that are here that may or may not have stood up when we called them. But I see Jimmy Wisenhunt back there and Mr. Johnny Hall, who are enshrined in our Hall of Fame as members of the 1963 West Memphis Blue Devil football team that was inducted just a few years ago. So give those two fellas a hand. Let's stand up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our first Hall of Fame inductee played football for West Memphis High School. There were numerous coaches that had a positive effect on his life and left their mark of excellence on an impressionable young man. These coaches included Hayes, Bowles, Ball, Love, Moore, Nooner, Oswald, and Long. He excelled and was a tight end and running back for the West Memphis Blue Devils from 1987 through 1989. In 1987, our Hall of Famer set a school record for the longest touchdown reception, 99 yards. He also participated in track and field, running the 4x100, the 4x200, the 200 meters, and the high jump. In 1989, he was awarded All-State, All-Conference Player of the Year. He was All-State, All-Conference as a sprinter. He was the Defensive Player of the Year. And he was the Male Athlete of the Year in football and basketball. He played in the All-Star game that year and won the Defensive Player Award. The team's record was 10-1. After high school, our Hall of Famer went on to play for Hines Community College for 2 years as a defensive back, where he received honorable mention. This extraordinary athlete currently resides in Crawfordsville, Arkansas, and is married to Christy Washington Bullets. They have 6 beautiful children: Brittany, Jamar, Matthew, Akiria, Luke, and Kennedy. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the screen for our first Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Tyrone Curtis.
What was your reaction when you found out you were elected to the Hall of Fame?
My reaction to that was joy. I was excited. It was a great moment. Being inducted into the Blue Devil Hall of Fame. When I sit down and think about it, I know that there are, my count, probably 30 guys to their team at least, and there are a number of guys that could be accepting that award. I've not been able to explain it exactly to my children, but I want them to get an understanding of an honor that is.
List some of your favorite memories or moments on the field of play.
Wow, Billy, that's 30 years ago, man, and I've been thinking. I think my fondest memories was that, when I think about it, a 10-0 season. We were 10-0. That was a great accomplishment. I played there with a great group of guys. I mean, guys that, we brought it together. And we had a great season. And the fondest memories that I tell my son all the time is that I remember when we played Helena. And I think it was for for the homecoming, if I'm not mistaken. We were down a touchdown, and the clock was running out. And that hit Anthony across the top. And I'll never forget that, man. I'm talking about that was a great moment. I'm talking about we won a homecoming plus we won the game.
How about basketball, your senior year, going to the championship game?
I wish my son Luke was here, because he'd tell you my dad's favorite story is that he always tell me, because he said, Luke, we had a chance to put it away. But Dad got up there and we still 1-1. It didn't turn out the way we wanted to. When we get out there and play, I said, no pressure. Pressure to bust a pipe. He said, well, Dad, what about, he always bring it back up to me. Well, what about the championship game? for some reason, every time I shoot, I miss on that one. So I think basketball was, I had a great time playing basketball. Coach Bray was a good coach.
Who were your biggest influences growing up and playing at the high school?
My biggest influence, probably, at the high school was I enjoyed every moment of playing football up under Coach Grafton Moore. I mean, that guy, oh man, it's just like, it was a father that you never had. And I mean, he looked out for us, he took care of us, he went above and beyond. Coach Newman, that whole coaching staff was great. I think we had excellent community support. Mr. Roosevelt, I don't know if you remember Tom and Thomas, the twins. I mean, that day to make it real, it's just like, I think at that time they may have been working for Greyhound. I mean, he had a bus, we had a charter. Our teachers, the faculty, staff, they were, we had some characters on our team. So I know it was a job putting up with us in the classrooms.
Who would you like to thank?
My spiritual sides don't always tell me, but I thank God for those days. I thank God for the ability to be able to play that sport, to play all three sports. I like to thank once again, I like to thank the coaches, the community. I like to personally thank having a great journalism. He kept us in the limelight. Everybody knew what was going on, and he was a real good guy. So there was a lot of people that take credit for this. It wasn't I, me, or mine at that time. So there's a lot of thanks to go around.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium, Hall of Famer Tyrone Bowles.
Good that speaks to staff. Way ahead. Yeah. Improv. Those are the students. It's a long time. Thanks to you. A lot of creative. Teammates. Nominate me for this speech. It's up. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyrone. Ladies and gentlemen, our next Hall of Famer was a standout point guard for the West Memphis Blue Devil basketball team from 2003 to 2005. He helped the Blue Devils to 2 straight state championships and was the only underclassmen starter on the 2003-04 title team. He led the Blue Devils in assists in his junior and senior seasons, and in the process set a new school single-season assist record in 2004. He was named the most valuable player in the 2005 state tournament as West Memphis edged Fayetteville 41-38 in the final, thanks to his 2 clutch free throws in the final seconds. After leading Wonder Junior High to a district championship in the 9th grade and 2 state titles in high school, our Hall of Famer won a national junior college championship as a freshman at the University of Arkansas Fort Smith. 2 years later, he led Martin Methodist College to a Division II national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the screen for our next Hall of Famer, Mark Mangum.
What was my reaction when I found out I got elected to the Hall of Fame? My first reaction was I broke down in tears. I finally beat the odds. I took so many losses over the years that I finally get a win under my belt. But there was tears of joy for the most part. I never thought in a million years I'd be a Hall of Famer for Westwood High School. So it's an honor and a blessing to have this privilege to take the stage with a few other people. I'm gonna cherish this moment for life. I wish my grandmother was here to see it because she had been my biggest fan since day one. She told me one day I was going to be special, not knowing that I was going to be in the Hall of Fame. List some of your best memories of your high school basketball days. I got so many memories, and a lot of them I can't think back. It's been a while, but I think as far as memory goes, I just love, playing the game the right way, get steals, alley hoops, couple crossover, getting the crowd fired up, just putting on the show. And shout out to Sammy Coon for giving me that name growing up, Showtime. I think I live up to it. And my junior year playing point guard with Sonny, Dez, Frello, Cortez, and other players. I think we had a good year. It was a lot of memories that I just can't think right off the head. But for us, that team, it's a special moment because each game was different, and not just me, but the other players brought something different to the table too. So it was a lot of fun playing with that team. For as my senior year was different because we had to adjust. We was kind of small. So, but playing with Eric Stuckey, Jason, Melvin, Clark, Terrell, it was fun. We hold our own. We repeated. So it wasn't nothing bad coming to my senior year. We had a lot of good memories too. But it was a long ride. Me, Coach Bray, Coach Bourne, we had to adjust to a lot of new changes and faces. Who were my biggest influences growing up? I would say my grandma, Eunice Mangum, rest in peace. My uncle, Jermaine Wynn, my cousin, Corey Brewer, my mother, Don Mangum, my daddy, Jimmy Wynn. All these people influenced me to be the man I am to today. Who would I like to thank? First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to God. Without this, none of this is possible. I would like to thank my mother for always being there no matter what, through thick and thin. Rain, sleet, snow, she always there. And rest in heaven, my grandma and granddad, who raised me and taught me never give up in life, keep going, no matter the odds. I also want to thank Billy Joe for giving me the opportunity to even have somewhere to play and grow as a kid and learn how to play the game the right way. Shout out to Ben Anderson, Mr. Cage, because I never knew how to play point guard until y'all put me in the jersey and put me in position to even run the team. Shout out to Coach Buns, Coach Sloan, and another shout out to the city of West Memphis. Because without the city of West Memphis, through all the hard times, it would be no more Anango. Y'all came out, supported me, and now we get a chance to be in the Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podium, Hall of Famer Mark Mango.
I'm a little nervous. First off, in the morning, I'm going to the superintendent office. They owe me some bank money. First off, I want to give a shout out to God. Without him, this wouldn't be possible. I want to give a little shout out to my mother, because she raised me the right way. It's been a lot of hard times. She raised 5 kids. She never complained, went to work, make sure I had shoes and clothes, make sure my little sister was in position to go to school. Never complained, never asked for nothing. She always told me one day I was going to be special, not knowing I was going to be a Hall of Famer. It's been plenty days, plenty losses I took. She never looked at me, never turned her back on me. She always told me, keep going, don't worry about what nobody say. Just keep going in life. And I want to send a special shout out to heaven, my grandma, Ms. Eunice Mango. Without her, some days I would sit in the room and cry because stuff wasn't going my way. And she'll just come in there and be like, look, everything ain't perfect. You will always have losses, but you got to turn them into wins. And shout out to my granddad, rest in peace. Because plenty days he go to work, back hurt, no car, walk to work, never complain, come home, and repeat stuff every day. So I took all that in stride and just tried to be the best basketball player I can be. Never complain about practice, school, or nothing. And next I want to shout out to Coach Bray. Because basically, in 03, he told me, this team can be yours, it's what you do with it. And how far we go, we put it on your back. I took that in stride. My 10th grade year, we came close to going to the championship, but I knew that next year, with Sonny, Diz, Quinn, Frelo, it was gonna be something special. So that whole summer, I just took in heed that we were gonna win state, one way or the other. And I already knew I had a big fan base. So every game I tried to put on the show. Regardless, if it's one play, 2 plays, I'm gonna get that money worth. So Friday night, I knew everybody gonna be in the city. They're gonna be here watching us put on the show. So the reward of the city, we run back 2 state championships. Not 1, but 2. I gave the city, I run the entertainment back to the city. There's so much negative going on, so I had to do something for the city. This ain't no win for me. It's a win for the city of West Memphis. And shout out to West Memphis Senior High over the years. Walking these halls, coming to practice, school, with so much love. I don't think I really had a bad day in high school. There was so much love behind me. So to be honored with these people is a blessing. I never take nothing for granted in life. Never. One thing when you cross that bridge, Mark Mango is a Hall of Famer. You can't take it from me. Now, I want to thank y'all for coming out. And I appreciate it.
story to this. I've already told him about it. Many of them, actually, very few of you have heard this before. 2005 state tournament was in Camden, and that was Mark's senior year. We won the state tournament that year. And during that week, I played off of something, one of his nuances that he used to do, and kind of made a name for himself about that. But Mark, as he mentioned a while ago, he was Showtime. I mean, no look passes, I mean, dribbling, ankle breaking moves. I mean, he did it all. But when he got the ball on fast break, he could dribble either hand. His left hand was just as strong as his right hand. And he would sometimes take off with his left hand or his right hand. But the other hand, the free hand, he would be in full stride, dribbling, and he would start hitching up his pants, hitching up his shorts. And I thought, you know, that's interesting. So we're at the state tournament. I'm sitting at the press table with all the writers from out of state. And I said, okay, guys, watch. Look, anytime you see Mangum hitching up his shorts, something's about to happen. And sure enough, right about the time I said that, he gets the ball, heads down court, throws an alley-oop pass for a slam dunk. And I said, see, what did I tell you? And they were just like, their eyeballs were this big around, the writers were. One of them was a Little Rock radio talk show host. He calls me up in the middle of the week before the championship game, the off week. And he says, hey, can you be on my show on Thursday? I said, sure. So we get on the show and he says, now tell me this thing about Mark Mangum again. What is it he does? And so I had to explain to the radio audience that anytime you see him hitching up those shorts, I mean, better watch out. It's bad news for the opponents. All right. Let's proceed now. Our next Hall of Famer was the head basketball coach of the West Memphis Lady Devils from 1995 through 2020. She began her career in West Memphis as an assistant coach of the Lady Devils for the 1994-95 season. Along the way as head coach, her teams won 13 conference championships and state runners-up in 2002, 07, 08, 09, and 1999. Her 2002-03 team won the state championship. She also coached at Nettleton, Newport, and Poughkeepsie. Also at West Memphis, our Hall of Famer coached the tennis team in 1994-95, and she coached the state championship team that year due to Hall of Famer Heather Knight. And our Hall of Famer, her playing career began in her native Cave City, where she earned all conference honors. She then played on the first ever Arkansas Lady Razorback women's basketball team in 1976 as a backup point guard. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the screen for our next Hall of Famer, Coach Sheila Burns.
What was your reaction when you found out you were elected to the Hall of Fame?
I was very honored and humbled and really surprised that I was and humbled, but I really want to say, you know, I took a long time and that y'all elected me to this, and it was really humble for me.
List some of your top memories, some of the highlights from your career.
Okay, so winning the 03 state title is one, and playing in the finals 6 times is 2, winning the conference from 96 to 03, and then winning again in 2007 to 2010, whole conference in 2020. Coaching the different levels of talent that I was best with.
Who were your influences as you were coaching?
My brothers and sisters, they're really good for me. And my mom, she's my biggest fan, was. And my high school coach, he talked me into playing my senior year. The first time we had basketball in K-City. And he really wanted me to play because he knew I was a good athlete. And of course, Larry Bray and Coach Gene was my mentors when I got here in West Memphis. They really helped me a lot, both of them.
Who would you like to thank?
My friends and family, and of course all my Lady Devils players, because without them I wouldn't be here for them. And I would like to say the admins for all their sports over the years, and all my assistants, they put on with me so long, and without them I could be here. And of course you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have two speakers for Coach Sheila Burns tonight. First, she's going to get up and say a few words, and then one of her former players, Tawana Edmond Smith, is going to speak for her. So welcome to the podium right now, Coach Sheila Burns.
Okay, can you hear me? I don't know if I can do this. It's the first time since my stroke that I can talk, so I'm gonna try. Then Rhonda's gonna pick up what I hate to say, you know. So maybe I want to start with saying how honored I am to be standing here tonight. It's not by coaching, it's being alive. Because my stroke was massive, and it really, I didn't think I would make it. And my parent plan would tell me, and because I didn't know anything until weeks after that. And so I'm just honored and blessed to be standing right here tonight. Before Mama Tawana speaks for me, my family, my friends are here tonight. This table was on my side for weeks and months after my stroke, because I could talk, I couldn't walk, I couldn't anything, and I spent 2 months in hospital, and they were there every day or weekends. That's why I want to say, if without them, I would not be here. I would not let my girls come and see me because I'm Coach Burns, and I didn't want them to think I was weak, you know. And I said, wait till I get better. And they're here tonight. So, and they did. But they were right there the day I went to campus, you know, because I could not think about, I was so strong for them. And I'd be strong for them now because I have the fight of my life ahead of me, and I didn't want them to see that until I was ready, and I did it. But called them, and I went back 1 year just for them, not the school, sorry, for my girls. So I talk more than comes out.
All right, as Coach Burns introduced me, I'm Tawana Emmett Smith. I'm one of her former players. I like to say I'm her all-time favorite player. Now, we got some other ladies down here that may argue differently. They got rings and stuff back here that they're always waving. I see Coach Burns has hers on. But I'm the one up here speaking, so I'm her favorite. Ironically, when I was being inducted into the Hall of Fame, a couple years ago, she was not able to be here because she was still recovering from her stroke. But you see how God brought this thing full circle? Now that we can be here together today and celebrate this moment with you on being inducted into the 2021 class of the West Memphis Sports Hall of Fame. Now, sometimes it's difficult for someone as humble and modest as Coach Burns to stand in this limelight and talk about all of her many accomplishments. Coach Burns, or Co-Burn, as most of our players call her, we thank you so much for giving us this honor of celebrating you tonight and the foundation that you set for our Lady Blue Devil basketball program. But there's one thing that bothers me. Oftentimes, the eastern side of the state doesn't get the love. We don't get the respect from some of the schools in the central and western part of the state. And it's not like we haven't been winning for a very long time. We have a new coach for the program who has Coach Burns' blessing, who's about to take us to a chip. So I hope we see y'all come out and support our Lady Blue Devil program this year. Because once a Lady Devil, that's right, and that's what Coach Burns always taught us. Tonight gives us an opportunity, though, to reflect on and appreciate where some of this winning tradition originated. What is our program without its history? You can't talk about the Lady Blue Devil history without talking about Coach Sheila Burns. You can't talk about our history without talking about our team camps at Arkansas Tech, having to run that 7-minute mile. Was it 7 minutes? 7-minute mile, or those 5-and-1s in the hot box. I'm not talking about our nice fancy Lear Arena. I'm talking about the hot box, the Double Dome, where we didn't have any air conditioning in the summertime, right? You can't talk about Coach Burns and our history without talking about all the times that she opened up the gym any time any one of her players wanted to get in for a little extra work. She was there early, she stayed late, she rebounded because she was teaching us to go, to fight, and to win. Now, when most of us hear cheerleaders chant that, we think of a hardworking team that's scrappy, persistent, determined to be successful, but if Go Fight Win was a person, it would be Coach Sheila Burns. Now, many of you know that in 2018, she suffered a massive stroke. For many people, that would have been the end of their coaching career. Not for Coach Burns. That was just one more obstacle that she would overcome to finish her career on her terms. She's a straight up winner, y'all. For 25 years, she stood on that sideline racking up wins for our program. And Billy went through a whole lot of the things she did as far as her Coach of the Year awards, her finals appearances, her conference championships, and especially that 2003 state championship. And she did it with her signature head full of curly black hair, well, until she straightened it. And I'm sure some of the girls did that because they were always trying to give her a makeover. She'd scream, she'd throw that clipboard, she'd point that finger all in your face. And if she was really, really mad at you for getting beat off the dribble, for failing to block out, T-Baby, Kim, April, okay. Or maybe not answering when you heard her scream your name, and she know you heard her scream her name. Your name. She would stomp her foot like she was stomping a hole in the ground, and all you would see when you managed the courage to peek at her to see just how mad she was, all you could see was that head full of black curly hair, looking up and down the bench for who she was gonna put in for you. As I shared a couple of years ago in my Hall of Fame speech, Coach Burns didn't care who you were. She didn't care how many all-state honors you had. She didn't care how many scholarship offers you had. She would put you on that bench because she wanted to teach you a life lesson that would carry you at the next level of sports, but most importantly in life. Now, she will probably want to talk about all the ways her players impacted her life, but I want to share just a few ways that she's impacted ours. After sending dozens, and that's dozen with an S at the end, dozens of players to the next level to play sports, at least 9 Division I players, my math could be off, and a host of other Division II, Division III, and junior college players, you gave us a shot at living a very rich life outside of the city limits of West Memphis. You gave us a shot at having a free education. You gave us a shot at winning, knowing that life is so much bigger than basketball. Every day you kick Katrina Nesby out of practice, that's Stick, for those of y'all who don't know who that is, and any other player she kicked out. They realize now that you were getting them prepared to deal with and overcome adversity. You were training them to go, fight, and win. At this time, I would like all of Coach Burns' former players to please stand for just a moment. We got some old school, some new school. Let's give them a round of applause. As she said earlier, we are all her motivation for coming back to finish her career on her terms and to finish what she started with our program. I do want us to pause for just a moment, for a moment of silence for some of the players that she's lost, the beautiful souls we knew as Candace Robinson and Jatavia Murray. Thank you. Coach Burns, we are the fruit of your labor. Now, you impacted our lives on the court and in many other ways. Today, it is very commonplace and even trendy to hear about women's empowerment and equality between women and men's sports. But Coach Burns was fighting this good fight long before it became a thing. If boys basketball got new uniforms, you better believe she was waltzing into somebody's office trying to figure out why girls basketball did not have new uniforms. If another program got new equipment, she wanted to know why not our Lady Devil basketball team. Her strength, her fight, her screaming, stomping, and finger pointing opened doors for our teams in ways we didn't even know that you were fighting. She has always been the ultimate advocate for girls basketball, teaching us how to go, how to fight, and how to win. She did want me to thank Mr. Kessinger, who rest his soul, for getting her through many things over her career. And I'm sure he got an earful when it came to women's basketball, girls basketball here at the high school. She also wants to thank all her assistant coaches, and I'm gonna name them. Coach Bermucci, Coach Skelton, Coach Moore, Coach Long, Coach Karen Hill, Coach Parker, Coach Peronia, Coach Sandra Tate, Coach Patrick Shirley. Whew. Coach Burns was right through those assistant coaches, wasn't she? But I know they left her with something, and she took something special from the time that they spent together. She's already thanked Coach Jean and Coach Bray for helping her young career get off to a great start. Want to offer a special thanks to our current administration, Coach Mr. Collins, Coach Collins, Mr. Collins, and Billy, thank you for putting on this event. To the committee for selecting and honoring her, to all her former players provided to her program. She offered a special thanks to Heather Knight and Heather Patterson now for being an amazing, amazing friend to her over the years. She also wants to thank Ms. Joanne Smith, who is just a rock star, if y'all don't know Ms. J. Smith, for your friendship, for your unconditional support. She appreciates all the times that you visited her, talked with her, checked on her, and stayed with her, especially as she recovered over the past couple of years. Last, but certainly not least, she wants to thank her family for rallying around her. It's been so beautiful to watch you all step in and love on her and support her, because that's what family is supposed to do, and she appreciates that. As I close, I want to thank you on behalf of all of your former players for what you've represented to us personally, to our program, for your contributions to our school's rich history. You continue to go. You continue to fight. And tonight, we want to help you celebrate this win. So at this time, I invite you to come close out your acceptance speech, and I want you all to get on your feet and join me as she comes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next Hall of Fame inductee was a star golfer for West Memphis High School from 2002 through 2005. He established himself as the top golfer in school history by earning 4 straight All-State honors as a Blue Belt. He won the conference championship, and in his senior year, he won the coveted Triple Crown of youth golf in Arkansas. He was the overall state champion and also won first place in the ASGA stroke play and the ASGA match play, heading into his senior year at West Memphis High School. Our Hall of Fame golfer was ranked number 11 in the world. Has that ever happened in any sport? I don't think so. By Golf Magazine. He signed a scholarship at the University of Arkansas, and after 1 year there, he transferred to the University of Memphis, where he was first team All-Conference USA as a senior. Also as a senior for the Tigers, he finished in the top 10 in 6 competitions. He has played in 2 PGA events and has competed on pro tours, such as the Hooters and the All-Pro Tour. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the screen for our next Hall of Famer, Jordan Payne.
What was your reaction when you found out that you were elected to the Hall of Fame?
Well, I was very excited, specifically because being from West Memphis, golf's not very popular. So I thought, to be thought of in that manner, I thought that was really cool. And I felt like I made my mom proud because she's from here.
What are some of your best memories of your golf career here, or your golf career in general?
So I had a lot of great memories growing up here in West Memphis. A couple that stand out in my high school golf career was holding a 20-footer on the last hole of the high school overall state championship to win by 1 stroke, which completed my Triple Crown that year, which was 3 state titles in the same season, of which I believe I'm still the only person to do such a thing. So that was definitely the #1 thing, which was pretty cool because I was actually representing West Memphis while I was doing it. So that is, very neat. Another thing I'm very happy about and proud about, and something that pops into memory, is when one of those tournaments, one of my state titles at Pine Bluff, the junior state championship, I set a scoring record and a margin of victory record. That one stands out for sure, so I did that simultaneously, winning by 12 shots and shooting 13 under par in Pine Bluff going into my senior year. Also, I won the Hurricane, which was at Jonesboro Country Club. It was called the Hurricane. And that was actually regarded as probably the best high school state golf tournament. And I won that back-to-back in about 3 years in a row individually, my sophomore, junior, and senior year. And that field was loaded. We had teams from St. Louis coming. So that one stands out too, as far as, and that was obviously representing West Memphis High School as an individual.
Who were some of your influences growing up here in West Memphis?
So, my main influences were my mom and dad. My dad was always my coach. My mom kind of took care of the school stuff. She was a stay-at-home mom. Big influences there on both. My dad, he wasn't necessarily my golf coach, but he was always there pushing me and took me all over the country in tournaments. So couldn't have done it without either one of them. My mom took me around too, so both mom and dad, both my grandparents also. I grew up very close with both sets of grandparents, just real close to my family. So as far as that goes, parents, grandparents, both sets. Also, some of the greats here in West Memphis, like we were talking about Marcus Brown, growing up around Coach Bray. My dad played basketball with Coach Bray, and just kind of knowing that mentality it took to be good at sports around West Memphis. It was rooted in baseball and basketball growing up. Being around Coach Collins at a young age, some of the greats, Coach Moore, and they always, a lot of those guys really set a good example for what it meant to be an athlete from West Memphis.
Who would you like to thank?
I would definitely like to thank my family, my friends. That's obvious. Mom and dad specifically. My dad, definitely the biggest biggest influence in my life. Did everything he could for me. Always put me ahead of himself, and so I would have never gotten anywhere close to where I got without him. And I'd also like to thank my teachers. I had a lot of good teachers. I can't really name all of them. There were so many, but I think growing up we had great from Miss Burden and Miss Jolene Smith, Mr. Burden. Great man, helped me a lot with what I was doing. I was obviously having to go away from here a lot, and so some great people around this community, and so a lot of them helped me, and so those are the ones that kind of roll off the tongue.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Hall of Famer Jordan Payne.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. What an honor it is to be inducted into the 2021 West Memphis High School Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight to share in such a great memory with each and every one of us inductees. I want to say congratulations to my fellow inductees. I know we will always remember this night, and it is my privilege to share with each of you. This is such a special honor, one that I've been able to look forward to for quite some time now. When I found out I was being inducted, I was humbled by the recognition. It took some time to sink in, as there have been so many great athletes to come through West Memphis High School. It was hard for me to fathom my name being mentioned alongside the West Memphis greats. Growing up in West Memphis, I loved playing basketball and baseball here. My dad was always a team coach, and he helped to instill in me a certain kind of work ethic that translated well within the culture of our town, a winning culture. I didn't know exactly which path I would take, but as a young kid, I knew I wanted to star for West Memphis High School in one way or another. I found the game of golf right here in my backyard at Meadowbrook Country Club. I excelled quickly and started to realize that this was my sport. I fell in love with the nature of the game. Growing up a team sport player, this individual sport quickly gained appeal in my eyes. On a bad day, I could blame nobody but myself. And on the good days, I went and felt that much better. As a junior golfer coming up through the West Memphis School District, I won four individual state championships and had myself ranked as high as 11th in the world. Not only am I proud of these accomplishments, but every time they announced my name in my hometown of West Memphis, I felt like I was playing for an extra sense of pride, West Memphis pride. Golf has taken me a lot of places and helped me to meet so many people. But I'll always remember where I played my first holes and learned the rules of the game that has taught me so much. I want to thank those who voted for me to be here tonight. I also want to thank the school district. I want to thank my teachers. Thank my golf coach for 4 years, Charlie Tyler. Thanks to the community. I also want to thank my friends and family. I want to thank my classmates as well for making the Blue Devil experience so great. Thank you to my mom for driving me to tournaments, making sacrifices necessary for me to have the right equipment and clothes and money for tournaments. Thank you to my dad for your sacrifices as well, and always helping me with the motivation I didn't know I needed. Go Devils.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next Hall of Fame inductee. As a defensive lineman, he was a well-known terror on the football field for the West Memphis Blue Devils from 1977 through 1979. He was not only a three-time All-Conference linebacker, but was also named All-State twice, and he was voted Outstanding Lineman in the East Conference his senior year. He also dominated as a thrower on the Blue Devil track and field teams. After high school, our Hall of Famer received a football scholarship to the University of Central Arkansas, where he was a standout player for 4 years. He played on several Bears teams that competed for the NAIA National Championship. Ultimately, the Bears secured the Arkansas Intercollegiate Championship in 1983. He was named NAIA All-American in 1983. During his college career, he finished with a school record total of 438 tackles, and he continues to hold the following records at UCA: most career tackles, most assisted tackles, and he is number 12 in unassisted tackles. Ladies and gentlemen, turn your attention to the screen for our next Hall of Famer, Mr. William Franklin.
What was your reaction when you found out you were elected to the Hall of Fame?
I would say I was very surprised and very honored. I guess after so many years after finishing high school, to be elected or inducted to the Hall of Fame is just a great honor, and I really appreciate it. I knew there would be other great athletes that came before me and after me, so it was a pretty big shock too. So I know, like I said, West Memphis has produced some of the greatest athletes in the state, so like I said, it was just a shock, really. So I'm really blessed. Thanks.
What are some of your favorite memories from your high school days?
Well, one of my favorite memories was playing with my late brother, Greg Franklin. I don't know if you know, but I was actually a sophomore, and Gary Starling, the starting linebacker, got injured. So they asked me to play for the varsity team. So I got to play with the varsity team, got to play with my brother, and that was a really, truly great experience. And got to play with all the older guys, learned a lot from them and stuff, so it was a great honor.
Who were your biggest influences in your athletic career?
I would have to say, top of the list probably would be Grafton Moore. He really pushed me on the field to be a leader, especially with my reputation coming in, starting for the varsity as a 10th grader, and then being All-State my junior and senior year. So he looked for me to be the leader on the team and off the team. So he really pushed me and made me a better athlete, and it held me accountable for the rest of the team. So I really appreciate him. I would have to say also Joe Nooner, my track coach, was a great influence. He was also the defensive coach, so I have to give him a lot of recognition. And I like to give all my junior high coaches to John Manning, Macer, Coach Macer. They were all big influence on my career. Great coaches over the years.
Who would you like to thank?
Well, first I would like to thank God first, and without him, I wouldn't be in this position. My mother, which was always in my corner, was a big influence on me coming up. All my coaches, all my former players, friends, family, and I also like to thank you for this opportunity too, so I really appreciate that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the podium Mr. William Franklin.
First, I'd like to say I am truly honored and grateful to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. West Memphis High School has produced many great athletes, both before and after me. So this is truly a blessing and honor. I'm extremely honored and blessed. So thank you very much. Okay. So like I said, one of my favorite moments at my time with the Blue Devil was probably playing with my late brother, Greg Franklin, who was no longer with us. So Greg was starting singing nose guard back in 1977. And me being at the sophomore at the time, was truly grateful to play with these older guys
you know, so, and I was joking, we got more here earlier. And, you know, y'all be let me come off the field, I could have been a better player. But yeah, it was great playing with all the older guys. I learned a lot, and you know, it was just great. So, but one of the other things I would like to say is one of my other memories was, you know, I did come off the field and everything. So back in the day, we didn't have all the therapists and all the, you know, hot tubs and all that. We cooling tubs and all that stuff. So my mom, back in the day, she used to do the old school way. She'd have some Epsom salt and alcohol. So that's a thing all my parents right now. But yeah, it was great playing back then, and you know, just great honor. So in closing, I would like to thank God for this honor. I'm extremely humble and grateful for this opportunity to be mentioned with so many other great athletes at Westminster High School. I also want to give a huge thanks to my mother, who's always been in my corner, and my greatest fan. And in closing, I'd like to give a thank to some of the coaches, who always pushed me to be a leader on and off the field, and have been happy through my life today. So I really appreciate it. Also, I'd like to give a thank you to Coach Jones. He's a great coach, a great field on me. Also, I'd like to give a thank you to Coach Manning and Gary Dexter, my junior coach. He was great at field on me. So, as in closing, I'd like to thank God, and I want to thank, like I said, my mother, Betty Franklin. I want to thank my wife, Elizabeth Franklin, all my friends and family for coming out. And it's truly great honor. Thank you very much.
Let's give another round of applause for all 5 of our Hall of Famers. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I want to say thank you for coming out and supporting this event. As a longtime West Memphian myself, I'm well versed in the rich tradition of all of our sports here in West Memphis, and we have been represented by the best of the best. And certainly tonight, we had 5 of the best to ever wear the Blue Devil uniform. That concludes our program tonight. I do want to give another shout out or round of applause for our food service provider, Sharp Wells, who did a fantastic job tonight. The food was great. Thank you for all the work that you guys did tonight. And guys, next year, provided we all stay healthy and beat this pandemic, we will be back next year. Where, we do not know yet, but we will have a venue, and I guarantee you, we will have another outstanding class of Blue Devil athletes. Thank you all, and have a good evening. I want to remind you, first of all, wait a minute before we go. Tomorrow night, we have a football game at Hamilton Schultz Field. The Blue Devils take on our neighborhood rival, the Marion Patriots, who we have 18 victories in a row, 19 victories in a row over without a loss. And so we'll be going for another one Friday night. We would love to see all of you packing the stands for that. We are also going to recognize these 5 Hall of Fame inductees tomorrow night between the first and second quarters. So if you want to come out and see them once more, and it's going to be a huge crowd at Hamilton Schultz Field, as it always is, between West Memphis and Marion. Come out and see these guys and support them one more time. Until then, see you guys next year.